What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Phoenix here. Welcome back to a brand new Marvel Spider-Man 2 informational video. And as you guys know, today is First Impressions and Reviews Go update. As you guys know, Insomniac and PlayStation invited a lot of content creators to play Marvel Spider-Man 2 early just to get a small portion of it. So we're going to be going over that. And on top of that, to mention, I've listened to a lot of reviews about what people have had to say, such as Evan Falarka, Comic Blast Keenan, and Caboose. Now, let's go ahead and start off with the traversal. Now, what I heard about the traversal is for the fact that the first things first, the web swinging is a lot faster thanks to use to the PS5's ability to render in the environments we're going through very quickly, as well as some new animations, some new air tricks. Some of the things that I heard from Evan Falarka was one of Peter's new animations was him bringing out a Rubik's Cube and solving it in midair. And he was even surprised by the new air trick system in the same way everyone was surprised with Miles Morales' air trick system, and said that he can't imagine going back to play the last two games with this new traversal system. Now, next is the web wings. Now, one thing that I heard from Caboose was think about everything that we loved from the Batman Arkham games, like dive bombing towards the street and coming up at the last second when you're barely right above ground. Imagine that stuff, but you're Spider-Man. Another thing that I noticed is that they will change depending on what suit you're wearing, which I cannot wait to see what that's going to look like with the Aragnite suit and the Shadow Spider suit. And I can't imagine what it's going to look like if we get the old suits, which I'm still on that. Can we transfer our suits over? But other than that, people are saying that the web swinging feels 2 times faster, and the footage that was given to them doesn't even fully capture how fast you can go in the game. Another thing that sounds really cool is that you can surf on water if you have a lot of momentum, which was seen in the gameplay trailer that we got back in May. Now, for the combat, from what Keenan said, the symbiote suit's combat is so satisfying and that it has a learning curve to it and how much combat has changed for the better. Now, with this, the gadget wheel is completely gone, which means that you would have to rely on the symbiote's abilities, and you would have to press L1 and one of the face buttons for the gadgets. You will need to use R1 to use one of the face buttons as well, which means that the gadget wheel is completely gone and you have them to the bottom right and the bottom left of the HUD. Now, according to this, Keenan also said that the combat feels a lot more fluid and a lot more quick, which means that quick-fire gadgets are going to be able to be more useful. Now, this next one was just a random surprise for me, which we got a rage mode, which, like, oh my god, I'm just gonna play, like, just look at it. It's just beautiful. And you can use this by pressing L3 and R3. As you can tell, the suit starts to change as well. Another thing that I heard is that the combat is a lot more challenging, because Keenan said that everyone was playing on the amazing difficulty, which isn't even the hardest difficulty in the game, and he was struggling at some point. As you guys know, I really wanted a challenging experience when it came to Marvel Spider-Man 2, and it looks like they nailed it also. As you guys know, I made a video about this a while back saying that Ultimate was way too easy, and Insomniac said that if they were going to buff Spider-Man in the game, they also needed to buff the difficulty of the adversaries, which to me just sounds great because I play on Ultimate all the time. Like you guys know, all I play is Ultimate difficulty, and hearing the way that they figured out a way to make it more challenging just sounds great to me. Now, the next thing that I heard about was the parry mechanic, which was another excellent addition to the combat. Even Keenan also said that he didn't think that we needed a parry mechanic in the game. And from what we've seen so far, it looks like they nailed it. Now, as you guys know, the parry system can be activated just by pressing, I believe it's L1. And based on the fact that you see the symbol in the gameplay, the red on top of that means that you have to parry. And if you don't parry, then you are pretty much going to get hit. Now, another thing I heard was that it also has more destructible environments as well, which sounds really good to me. The biggest thing that I'm excited for is for the fact that you have to customize your abilities that you want to use. For example, the symbiote abilities you can use while you have the advanced suit on, or you can do the exact opposite and vice versa. Not to mention for the fact that suit powers are also gone, and I think they did this because they saw how much of a power creep it was due to the fact they had to balance out the combat more, since they realized that, you know, we're going to be using the symbiote a lot more. Now, let's talk about the dual takedowns and how they work. From what Caboose said, is that sometimes you'll go into a random crime that's happening, and depending on which Spider-Man you are, the other one will be there fighting alongside you, which sounds very brilliant. Now, the next thing is the graphics modes, which are all going to be in 4K. We got fidelity mode going at 4K 30 FPS. We got performance mode going at 4K 40 FPS. And after that, we got, of course, the other performance mode going at the legendary 4K 60 FPS. And on top of that, every mode has ray tracing automatically turned on, which sounds great, which means they're going to be able to get those high quality performance modes. And it's just going to look good, man. Now, this last part is some new story details. So if you guys want to go into the game as blind as possible, I'll give you 5 seconds to click off the video. We got to see an interaction between Peter and Kraven, and from what Keenan said is that this is probably Yuri's best voice acting performance yet, and that he sounds amazing, and that he likes the relationship between Peter and Harry, as well as Peter saying some crazy things to the people that are close to him while having the black suit on. Moose even said that whole entire part was, even from a performance standpoint, from animation to direction, the writing, all of it was firing on all cylinders, meaning that it was spectacular. We also got a chance to see a scene between Miles and Rio telling us that Martin Lee's on the run. Next, we also get a scene with Peter and Harry, and at this point in the game, Harry knows that Peter is Spider-Man and that he has a symbiote. Now, if you look at that machine in the new footage, we did see that in the story trailer, and we also know now for a fact that that machine is made to get the symbiote off of Peter. Now, we do know for a fact that if you guys go back and look at the story trailer, another part that is also in here is for the fact that the hunters are surrounding Peter, and we now know what that move is called. Now, instead of it being the symbiote spikes, it's called the symbiote blast. And also on top of that, we also know that the facility matches the fact that they're also working on a cure for Dr. Connors, which is honestly probably the main reason why they're there. Now, if you guys don't remember, my theory was that Peter would get the symbiote in an Oscorp facility. Turns out that it is completely wrong. He has had the symbiote prior to that whole entire scene. So my guess is for the fact that he's probably going to end up getting it in the penthouse. And lastly, we got a good look at Lizard, which just looks insane. And I love this design of Lizard. Now, we also got a chance to hear for the fact that Kurt's wife, Martha, and his son, Billy, do exist in this universe as well. Meaning that they have obviously seen, or they know that Kurt has turned into a lizard in this universe. So my guess is for the fact that Peter is going to have to make Connors drink it since his hide is so thick. Another thing that I heard from Blitzwinger is that Connors does have a lab in the sewer, which is another thing that I predicted back in the gameplay as well. When you see the lizard going into the sewer pipe, I predicted that as well. So those are the things that I spotted in the gameplay yesterday. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. It's from your boy Phoenix, and I'll see you guys later. Whether spectacular, Spidey, webtastic, banger.